Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And I hope that your new year, 2026, is starting off powerfully and purposely. I've been so excited fourth quarter thinking about a brand new, sparkly new 2026 and leaning into getting it started. And then it just started so quickly and moving in so many directions. So exciting energy, but it's also important that you are approaching it purposely. You're approaching it mindfully. And so I'm going to invite you during our time together today to remind yourself that you get to be in charge, not the day, not the month, not the year, not all the other things, but you really get to choose. And as we come together today, I hope that you choose to be poured into, to be present, to really receive everything that is here for you, because there is a reason you tuned in. There's a purpose in it. There's something here for you. And our amazing guest is so gifted and helping you truly play the way you're made, play to your strengths, be able to move forward the way you can uniquely and powerfully and impactfully move forward. I know you're going to love her. She has great insights that she'll be sharing with us and even stretching us a bit, and that's a good thing. We want to be stretched. That's part of growth. We want to learn new ways to look at things. And I feel like she has such a gift to help us in this way. So I know that there is so much for you to lean into our conversation today. So I'm very excited to be bringing her aboard, having her share with us. We've even dedicated the full show to this conversation to really empower and support you as we're looking at 2026 and beyond. This is your time. This is your year, and this is your opportunity to step forward in powerful ways with support, with insights, with even a new framework that you can add to your toolbox. So as we're coming together, I want to encourage you to slow down, become very present, and close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, all the way to your toes. I even invite you to wiggle your toes a little bit. Make sure they're getting oxygen. Beautiful. And then breathe out. Like you're breathing out through a straw, releasing everything that just no longer serves with love and gratitude, but we can release that. And that creates room and space for more. And breathe in that oxygen, the air, picture, all that support coming in, and even expand. Stretch your lungs a little bit. Let's create a little more room and space to bring that support in. And then breathe out again. Notice how that calms us, brings us present, and creates this space for all of us to connect in today. And now let's dial this up. I want to encourage you to put both hands on your heart. And as you do so, just notice the beat of your heart. And notice that little pause in between the beats, that moment of silence. And in that space, what is your heart sharing with you today? What is it whispering? Sometimes we're too busy to hear. What is it that you need today to encourage, support, and empower you? What do you need? Real time that you're willing to receive because you have choice. What is it that you need? With curiosity, see what your heart has to say. Beautiful. Let's receive that information. Take another deep breath in through the nose, opening your eyes, fully present. Beautiful. and take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart. And I'm going to encourage you throughout our time together to take notes. Write down things that spark something within you, that you have a pulling forward or something bubbling up, an idea as we talk. Let's capture those moments along with what was laid on your heart. That helps you bring them forward, not just have ideas swirling around, but let's start to ground them in and give them roots and help them grow and bring them forward. And we're able to do that by writing those down and bringing them into reality. Beautiful. Well, as we go around our virtual room, I'm going to ask our amazing guest, Kim, if you could share just a moment of what was laid on your heart when you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for that beautiful introduction. What a wonderful way to start our conversation today. What came up for me was an incredible sense of peace. I think probably like so many people listening, the morning gets going pretty quickly. And it's easy to get into a rhythm of going. And taking a moment to breathe and to connect with our heart and to feel the heartbeat and just the breath, slowing down in that way was just such a beautiful reminder that we can always hear ourselves even when so much is going on around us. And so for me, it was just such a beautiful moment of quiet and peace. I really loved it.
I'm so glad. I love that. And it's so true. It's so easy to get caught up in all the things. And then we can lose track of ourselves a little bit. And by just mindfully, purposely taking even a minute, 2 minutes to slow down, it can really help us connect in with ourselves again and feel that peace. And I find when I remember to do it, and I don't always remember to do it, that's one of the reasons I built it into the show. I want to make sure when I'm connecting in with you, I'm also connecting in with myself, that we're connected and talking and growing from that space together. But I find when I remember to do that, I'm able to operate from that place versus reacting or being kind of run by the day. I can approach the day in a much more centered and grounded place, or in the afternoon, or whenever it is that I remember, you know what? I'm feeling a little pulled a lot of directions. Let me just take 1 minute, 2 minutes and slow down and bring that peace and focus and clarity in. So I'm so glad that served you and that we get to share that space together. That's just beautiful. Thank you, Kim.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. And listeners, how about you? Perhaps you felt that too as we connected in, or maybe you were surprised about something your heart shared with you today and you're taking a moment to just kind of process that, because remember, we're creating this space together for that. Or there's something else bubbling up. Wow, I really need this, or I'm looking forward to this. And as we come together, our goal is to pour into and support you with whatever it is that has been laid on your heart and the steps you're taking in your journey. So as we go to our first commercial break, I encourage you to stay in this space and really listen, receive, see what's bubbling up. Stay present, and we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and that opportunity to be present and just be. What a gift that is, I find, when I can remember to just be. So I invite you during our time together to practice being and receiving and really see what speaks to your heart, to your spirit, what prompts you, and write those things down as we continue our conversation today. So you got to hear from Kim in the opening segment a little bit on a heart level, where she really shared about that slowing down and peace that it can bring us to connect in and listen to our heart. And I wanted to share a little bit more of her background so you know some of the expertise from which she speaks and will be sharing with us. So Kim is a keynote speaker, strategist, and creator of the Strategic Unruliness process or framework. It's a bold framework for breaking the rules that no longer serve us. How beautiful is that? So we can live and lead with radical clarity. She helps high-performing women build lives, careers, and communities that reflect the full force of who they are. She is passionate about helping you live and lead with radical clarity. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful, radical, unruly Kim Bolourtchi. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
You are very, very welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here today. And again, I just think it's so powerful that we're getting to start the new year together. And I know behind the scenes, we've been coordinating calendars and things. And I could see how it was just lining up perfectly for us to come together and support people as we begin the new year. So thank you for leaning in and being willing to share your wisdom and your expertise with our listeners today. And I wanted to start our conversation with why? Why is this work of strategic unruliness so important to you? Why is this something personally that you are so passionate about helping others with?
You know, for most of my life, I followed the rules. I was told that if I followed the rules, it would get me where I wanted to go. And so I actually tried to be the ruliest person you've ever met in your whole entire life. I tried to do everything I was told, and actually I did it really well. And what I found was I hit a point in my life where I had done everything I'd been told would get me where I wanted to go. I'd achieved a measure of success that most people thought was pretty good. I had a life on paper that was supposed to be the ultimate of what I was striving for. And the truth was, inside, I kept having this feeling that there was something else, that there was more for me, that this wasn't it. And I felt so much guilt and so much angst and so much just discontent on the inside, and was so ashamed to say it on the outside. I really thought it was only me. And in time, I began to realize that it wasn't just me, that so many high achieving women do exactly what we're told is going to make us happy, make us successful, make us fulfilled. But when we play by rules that weren't made for us, when we're living other people's ideas of kind of what we're supposed to do, oftentimes we're depriving ourselves of our greatest gifts. And so being able to show people a different way to navigate the world, to do it on your own terms, is incredibly personal to me, because since I started doing that for myself, my entire life changed. And when I get to help people do it and watch their lives change, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And do you mind, just as I'm listening to you share, because I feel like a lot of people can identify with that, and it can be so disillusioning. Like, I did all of the things
Yes.
and they said this is success, but it doesn't feel like success. Is this it? Kind of feeling. So as you made a shift around this, do you mind just sharing how your life changed?
Sure. So I'm a lawyer by trade. That's kind of what I went to school to do, and I was practicing law and doing that successfully. But it really wasn't what I wanted to be doing. What I really wanted to be doing was working with people in a way that helped them feel seen, working with women, working with girls. I had this real passion for doing something completely unrelated to law, and I loved to dance. So I was this high-powered lawyer, and I secretly hid the fact that I was a competitive, really, really well accomplished professional Latin dancer. I kept my life completely separate and leaned completely into the professional side, which was what I thought was going to get me where I was going, and had been told that's really what people need to see from you. And I kept this whole other part of me hidden. And when I stopped doing that, what happened was, one, I moved away from practicing law, which a lot of people in my life had an issue with. They were like, "You paid for law school, you make all this money. How can you walk away from this career? You're really good at the thing." And so there was that to navigate. But the truth is, when I started working with women and girls, and I started consulting in organizations and started helping people be the biggest version of themselves in life, and living myself without being in this weird dichotomy of I can only be this thing or this thing, I started feeling happy and content and fulfilled and excited to get up and do work. And I lost that feeling that I used to have that was like, oh my gosh, is this really all there is? And so I realized that, you can achieve success on paper, you can achieve a lot of things, and I'm not diminishing the value of that, because it's awesome to achieve all of it. But if you feel like there's something more for you, it's because there is. And when you trust that and you start to lean into that and you do that, the way that you feel when you wake up every day and the success that you achieve personally, and by the way, financially, is so much greater than if you continue to follow a path that really was dictated by someone else's ideas.
Thank you for sharing that. And I love that. I think that is such an encouragement for so many people. You're stepping into more of who you are and being courageous enough to follow that and step forward. And as you reflect back on your journey and so many that you've helped, I'd like for you to share, how can someone recognize perhaps there's more for them? Perhaps there's a shift that would help them be more fulfilled, be more on purpose with who they fully are.
I call this feeling unsomething. And it's not a very grammatically correct word. I know this, but for lack of being able to define it in a way that lands for everyone, because it's a little bit different for every person who feels it. It's this gnawing feeling that you are aware of in your most quiet moments. Because the reality is, when we're going and we're doing and we're in motion, right, doing the things that we are supposed to be doing, and that's air quotes around the word supposed to be, we don't often have time to really hear ourselves. And if you're anything like I was, you feel guilty when you get that sort of inkling of, oh my gosh, I think there's more for me, if you're already doing pretty well in your life. And so it'll come up in this sort of your quieter moments, or when your guard is a little bit down, and you'll get this feeling that's like unhappy, unsatisfied, unfulfilled, something that makes you feel like, a question, I think there might be a little bit more. Or it can be an idea that just keeps coming back to you. And it could be one that seems so far-fetched, you can't even believe it's possible. One that if you told your friends, they would say, oh my gosh, you can't do that. And maybe at one point you did tell somebody and they were like, well, that's impossible. You can't do that. It's those kinds of things where it's a reoccurring idea or a reoccurring feeling that there is something more, or just a feeling of unsatisfaction about where you are that is a signal that you really, really need to pay attention to. Because like anger or frustration, it doesn't go away if you push it down. It just kind of keeps coming back up. And so I always tell people, pay attention to it. You don't actually have to do anything, right? You don't have to act. You always have a choice. But if you listen to it and you look it straight in the face and ask it what it's telling you, you will be shocked to hear what is possible if you stop limiting yourself by basically the idea that you can't have more than you already do.
I'm just taking a moment. I'm writing some of these things down. It's so good.
It's so hard to define. And I want to be really clear about that because, when I first started talking about it, I would talk about it only in terms of what I felt, which was I felt like there was more. I just kept feeling like there's got to be more. There's got to be more. And that was what it felt like to me. But as I've started talking with people, sometimes people don't feel that there's more necessarily. They just feel like the feeling is they're just not content or they're just not happy. They're not feeling yet that there's more. They just know that where they are isn't feeling good. And so it can come up in a lot of different ways. And so if you don't have an exact word for it, it's okay. It's just that a feeling is there that requires attention.
And so as you're sharing this, if people are leaning in and saying, yeah, I do feel that sometimes, or this idea keeps popping up, but it's crazy. But I don't know, it makes me happy when I think about it, the possibility once in a while. What is a step they can take? What is something they can do today? Maybe it is that listening or paying attention. What is the step they can take today to start to open up the dialogue and the possibilities there?
So the first thing, it sounds so simple, but believe it or not, it's harder than you would think, is actually just acknowledging it. Because what happens is that when we hear it and when we look at it, the first thing that usually happens, and this is where I call them rules, but their beliefs, their ideas, all of the things that we've been brought up with and all of the conditioning that tells us we can't do this or we shouldn't want it, it starts getting really, really loud. And so most people will hear the thing or they'll see the thing or they'll be like, oh my gosh, there really is more. And immediately behind it, like before you can even acknowledge it, comes all of these ideas of like, yeah, but that's not for us, or we're not allowed to have that, or it's too late for me to do that, or oh, that would have been nice, but, or practical things like, yeah, I can't make money doing what I love, or that's a pipe dream. And I could go on and on because we all have these running dialogues. And so it's look at it, acknowledge it, and just let it have space. Don't evaluate it. Not good, not bad, not anything. Just give it some space to breathe. Beautiful. And that is truly the first step to just bringing it forward in a way that lets you see there is something there. And by the way, for me, I did not know what the heck that thing was for a minute. It was like, there's something, but I don't know what it is. I prayed for clarity like over and over and over because I had so much resistance to it even being possible that there was more for me. And so you just need to be patient with yourself and give yourself the space. But if you have that feeling, I promise you, there is more for you.
Thank you for sharing. So beautiful. We are going to go to our next commercial break, and I feel like it's timed perfectly for this. So I want you to reflect on what Kim has shared and what is coming up for you just as she shares that, wow, there could be more. And maybe I can just create a little space to see it, to let it breathe. And maybe something's bubbling up right now. So as we go to this next commercial break, I encourage you to stay present, really receive everything that is bubbling up, and we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on X. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you become a member yet? Sign up now to become a member of Voice America. It's always free and easy. Plus, you get to take advantage of some great member benefits. Get unlimited access to millions of hours of on-demand content across all of our channels. Keep track of your favorite episodes, shows, and hosts in your own customizable library. Find out what shows you might be interested in based on your favorites. Plus, you get insider access with our newsletter. Membership gives you more. Sign up at voiceamerica.com and click register at the top right.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you really took the opportunity to listen, to receive. And even as Kim was talking and sharing, many of you know I have Pumpkin. You've heard him from time to time on the show. And he actually brought in one of his favorite toys, dragging it with a bell. I had to mute the line for a moment. And he dragged it all the way in and dropped it at my feet. And I felt like it was him just underscoring and celebrating us leaning into this conversation and really being willing to see, what is possible? What makes my heart sing? What makes me happy to just kind of think about it? And as Kim and I were talking behind the scenes, we also thought, as you lean in and give some room to look at, to create space, to let this breathe for a moment, the rules can start to come up. And so I wanted to have Kim share a little bit about these rules that can sometimes start to pop up when we open up that space to really look at what is possible. So Kim, can you share?
Absolutely. The rules are going to come from primarily two places. They're going to come from ourselves, and these are the ideas that we have about what's available to us, what we can have, what we can't have. And this comes from usually when we're really, really little and we've just never challenged them. And then they can also come from other people, which is other people's ideas about what we're allowed to have, what we should want, what we're capable of doing. And again, this is usually formed when we're young and we kind of carry them forward. And so as you're noticing the thoughts in your head about what you can't have or why you can't have it, I really want to encourage you to think about whose rule that is. When you first heard it, where it came from, and most importantly, is it true for you right now? Because it really helps you decide whether that's your rule or someone else's rule, and whether it's going to help you or whether it's going to hinder you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm just giving everyone a moment to digest that and write down some of those questions to explore. And I do want everyone to know that we are recording. The replay will be available, so you can rewind any part of this that you want if you want to hear that again. Because sometimes when the rules come up, it can get a little crowded and harder to hear. And so giving yourself that opportunity to kind of let this pour over you, and then maybe go back and listen to a couple of these sections again to support you, because it's really important what is coming forward for you. You're really important and valuable and needed. And I believe that we're all wired differently, we're all made differently, and we all have different gifts that we can bring to the world that the world, in fact, needs. So, this is an important conversation to have with ourselves, to really pay attention to the rules. Are they rules we want anymore? Do they serve? Where did they come from? And what do you want to do with that now that you know, as you go forward? Anything you would add to that, Kim?
I always think about, when I think about the rules, I always think about if you've ever played a board game with like a 5-year-old, they always adjust the rules so that they win. And like they're not doing it to be a jerk, but they just want to win. And this is kind of how I think about the rules and who makes them. People who make the rules, honestly, they make them in their favor. And it's because they're doing it from their perspective. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it comes from a perspective that doesn't take into account, as Rebecca, you said so beautifully, your unique gifts, talents, and attributes. And so a lot of times the limitations that we want to place on ourselves or that other people want to place on us based on these rules have absolutely nothing to do with you. And so all they really do is serve to keep you from doing the thing that you really could do if you just ignored that rule or that limit. And so I think it is the most important thing to challenge the rules in a strategic way, right? Like this isn't rebellion I'm talking about, but really strategically think about whether it is made with you and your gifts in mind, and whether it's going to help you be the biggest version of you.
I love it. We get to tap into our 5-year-old power and
right?
adjust the rules.
It's never a bad thing.
That made me happy. So yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that and that valuable perspective on where the rules come from and kind of what they do, how they can operate in our life for us, or perhaps need a bit of an adjustment there. And I also wanted to take a moment and have you share about your book that you recently released. It became a #1 international bestseller, 71 best-selling categories. So amazing number between the US, Canada, and France, with 19 of them ranking #1. So it was very powerfully received. I'd love for you to share the title, a little bit about it, because I feel like it ties into our conversation so beautifully.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. This book was such a labor of love for me. It's called Strategic Unruliness: Break the Rules and Build What's Next. And the book is about, from beginning to end, it's literally about how we identify the things that are holding us back, how we challenge the rules that are informing our lives and keeping us from doing the things we really, really want to do, and then how we expand our own capacity so that we really get to live in the biggest way possible. And what I love so much about this book, and why I smile every time I think about it, is that there's so much wisdom in here, hard learned lessons, both mine and other people's, that will make this path so much easier for anyone who really, really wants to do this. And it's not an easy thing to do, but I always think, if I had this roadmap sooner, right? Like how many times in our life do we say that? And this book really, really gives that. It's not your typical leadership book at all. It's genuinely a push you out of your comfort zone, but with strategic and actionable guidance to really get to that next level of what you're really wanting in your life.
Beautiful. And where can we find this book?
It is for sale on Amazon. It's also for sale online on Barnes & Noble, I believe on Walmart, on Target.com. So most places where books are sold.
I love that. And do you have different formats available?
I do.
People's favorite?
Yes. There's a Kindle version, which you don't need a Kindle to read it. And there's a paperback and also a hardback. So any way you like to read books, it's available.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing and for bringing that forward. And what an amazing gift, because so many of us are like, wow, I wish I had known this sooner or discovered this. So
Thank
for the
you.
absolutely, congratulations and thank you for leaning in, bringing it forward. It's such an undertaking to bring a book forward and to have it received so powerfully as you did. And here's an opportunity for all of us to lean in and add this amazing resource to our library. And I feel like everybody, this is a perfect time of year as we're looking at these things, looking at goals. We have this brand new 2026 that we're getting to start to map out and fill. And I'd love for us to fill it in a way that aligns with who we are. And we can be strategic and intentional and purposeful about that. And I feel like your book, Kim, really helps us do that. So thank you for sharing a little bit about it and making us aware. I also
Absolutely.
wanted to reflect back on some of the work that you're doing with leaders, because I think we hear your story and it's very powerful, and we're starting to listen to what's on our heart maybe a little bit more, some of those dreams, or wow, this is where my mind goes in those quiet moments when nothing's
Mhm.
pulling at me of wow, this makes my heart sing someday. I think it hides in the someday, sometimes someday I'll do this. And I'd love for you to share if there's an example of a leader that you've worked with, because examples are so powerful, that was able to bring some of this approach to some of the teams they are leading. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Gosh, I have so many good stories. One of my favorites is a team that I worked with that actually was an organization that was doing well, and they had built on a legacy of kind of a business that had been formed, and they were just kind of building. But the leader was feeling again this call toward more. And everybody kept saying, it's not broken. Don't fix it. Like nothing is wrong. You don't need to do anything differently. And she kept saying, but I really believe that there's something different here. And so they were doing retail stores. They were building construction and doing really, really well. And she had this idea that she really wanted to do luxury brands. And they were not in that market at all. And she kept thinking, I love beautiful things. I love customer service. I think people would love it. But everybody kept saying, stick to what you know. It's really lucrative. So she decided to take a few less of the bread and butter projects, throw her hat into the luxury brand space, put together a small team that was really, really excited about it. And here's the thing I love the most. She used the talents of the people on her team. She didn't just try to do this all herself. She literally said, like, what do you love? What are you excited about? What are you passionate about? What can you bring to the table in this new endeavor as we're going to try something totally different? And let everybody bring their unique gifts to the table. And within a very, very short amount of time, they were chosen for a major remodel of a luxury brand. And so I can't say who it is just to protect confidentiality, but like this was a really, really big deal and a massive shift that everybody said was really, really risky and should never happen. And what it proved was that when you listen to yourself and you trust your team and the talent of your team, you can do things that other people say can't be done. And it happens all the time. But you don't do it by yourself. And you also don't have to burn everything down. So they didn't like shut the entire business down and throw everything into this one thing. It was an and. They kept the old thing going while they tested this and built this, and ultimately shifted to the thing that they were most passionate about doing. And I see this happen all the time, but it's a combination of the leader getting really excited and tapping into the talent of their team.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that. And I think that's a reminder. You don't have to burn everything down. It's an
No.
and,
Yes.
but create room for it too. They were very intentional about creating space for this
Yes.
and strategic about who do I want to bring in? How can we approach this? What's the talent? What are we excited about? How can we put everybody in a space that just plays to their strength and their excitement and their passion in building this? And I love that when we do those things, the things people say can't be done can. And I also love how we don't have to wait for something to be broken to take action. Why wait for the brokenness?
Well,
I think it's much smarter to be proactive and listening to those voices. Would you add something to that?
I just, it's one of those things where I shake my head because so many times people will, the thing is that being strategically unruly, it's hard because it's countercultural, right? Breaking the rules to build what's next. Like, this is not something we're taught to do. We're taught to follow the rules. That's what gets you where you want to go. So I understand this is a novel idea, and yet it's so brilliant in the way that it works. And so many people will be like, this sounds so cool. I love it. It sounds so great, but everything is fine right now. And it's when everything is fine right now that you have the luxury of playing in that space of and you have the ability to be like, okay, but like, what is calling to me, and how can we be curious and creative about it? You don't want to wait until the house is on fire and you're trying to pull out your sacred belongings to then be creative. It just, those two things don't go together. And so I'm always amazed that people wait until it's a 10-alarm fire to then want to do something. This is the moment before anything is burning, is that's when our greatest innovation happens.
Thank you for sharing. And we can have support in bringing it forward and not be in a place of scared and desperate and feeling like something has to change to survive. What a smarter approach it is to wait and not wait, but really see, wow, what else is possible? What can I add to this? What can I create room for? What would I love to see come forward, and to build from that energy in that space? And then it has some cushion and room about it, which gives more room, space, and support for the growth.
Exactly.
I think that's really wise. And I will say, I have waited for the 10-alarm fire on different things. I have. I waited until I didn't have a choice.
Of course, we all have, right? I mean, it's absolutely.
But even then, I'm glad to have made the change and come through it. But boy, it's a much smoother journey to have a roadmap and to be proactive in asking those questions and bringing those things forward. So thank you for sharing your wisdom and your insight today. And I hope that people are feeling that quickening of their heart and their spirit to lean in, that this is now the time.
Absolutely.
We're going to take our next commercial break. And as we do, I want you to take a moment, look at your notes, and write down a question you're going to start exploring, or an idea you're going to kind of look at and see, how can I make room for that with curiosity? Not listening to rules, but curiosity. And it's I wonder how I could start doing that. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Voice America is on LinkedIn. Connect with us today.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. voiceamericaempowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had fun, actually, and putting down some things you're going to explore and think about, and maybe start to see how can I bring some of that forward. I was telling Kim behind the scenes that when I was a financial advisor, and I did that for a lot of years, I enjoyed it. And we would always find fun and laugh as we were building plans and excitement. And there was always laughter coming out of the office. And I remember the team sometimes would pull me aside saying, these are finances, you have to be serious. And, you don't want to laugh when people are trying to build this stuff. Money is very serious. And I'd look at them and I said, of course it's serious, but why can't we have fun in creating what we want to create? Why can't we have joy? Why can't we laugh and be excited about what we're building, how we're using our funds? And I feel like that around this. Why can't we have joy and excitement and bringing forward that thing that keeps coming up for us that we want to have, that we can perhaps start creating room and space for and create our own rules. That 5-year-old, we can adjust them so we win. So I hope you're finding joy and excitement and even a playfulness in that. Even though it's serious work, it's important work, we can have joy in it. And Kim, I would love for you to share your thoughts on that. And then I want to make sure people can connect with you. So keep paper and pen ready. So those of you who want to connect more with Kim, you have an opportunity to do so. So Kim, I'd love your thought on that. And then what is the best way for us to connect in and go deeper?
I love the reference to joy, Rebecca, because the truth is, the more fun that we're having doing the things that we're doing, the faster the good things come to us. And again, this is counterintuitive in a way, but what I find is that the joy of doing things, when you are so lit up and excited by what you're doing, it is such a good signal that you're following your own path, not one that's been prescribed by someone else. And so when you get excited and you feel really happy, that means you're doing it your way. And so the happier, the better, honestly. Not that you have to feel happy all the time, but genuinely when you can have fun, that's a good thing. So I love that. And that makes me really happy too. You can reach me at kim@kimbolourtchi.com. That's my email. So you're welcome to email me with any questions that you have after listening to this episode. It's spelled KIMBOLOURTCHI.com. And then my website is the best way to find out what's going on, to get resources. And also, I have a free Zoom coming up on January 29th at noon, where we're going to talk about how you actually identify the things that are holding you back. So it's going to be a really powerful hour. If you happen to be available, just sign up for it and save your seat. And you can do that at my website, www.kimbolourtchi.com. That's KIMBOLOURTCHI.com.
Thank you. I'm excited about that powerful hour and the opportunity for people to connect in and go deeper. And do you mind sharing the full title of your book one more time, just in case someone missed that?
Absolutely. It's called Strategic Unruliness. And the subtitle, Break the Rules, Build What's Next.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, anything else as you reflect back on our conversation that is just on your heart that you want to share with our listeners as they get ready to go back into the day?
I really want you to know that no one knows what is possible for you but you. And so many times people will express doubt, or they'll say, that's not possible, that can't be done. But it's only because it is impossible for them. If it's calling to you, or it's an idea that you have, or it's a feeling that you you feel over and over and over, it's yours for a reason. And I just want to remind you that there are like 9 billion people on the planet, and every one of us are different. We're all unique. We all have different gifts. And so I want to encourage you to listen in if you have that feeling that there is more, that there is something that is speaking to you. Pay attention to it, because you deserve to live the biggest life that you possibly can and to show up in the biggest way. So I really want that for you. And I hope that you found some inspiration to maybe even just take one little step.
Beautiful. Thank you. Little steps count.
Yes,
movement in a direction.
Absolutely.
So, thank you for sharing. I so appreciate it. And if you have something speaking to you, I feel like there is an urgency to it. There's a reason it's coming forward now. Timeliness. I'm not saying that to add undue pressure, but to encourage you to pay attention, listen to it. There's a reason it's coming forward now. And there is a way that you can be part of bringing that forward. That's why it's coming to you. And people need what it is. That's why there's an urgency. That's why it keeps coming forward. Need that the way you can bring it forward, not the way anyone else can bring it forward. So we really encourage you to take those steps, take that time, explore, bring joy into it, excitement. Remember the 5-year-old, you can adjust the rules accordingly to bring forward what you are called to bring forward, because you are a gift. There's no one else just like you, exactly needed for such a time as this. And the biggest impact you can have, the biggest change that you can bring, the biggest difference that you can make in the world is being willing to be more of who you truly are, and then share that out in the world, shine that out into the world. So as you go forward into the day, take a few moments for you, really reflect on what bubbled up for you, and choose a step. And little steps count, a baby step. I'm going to explore this question. I'm going to look at this, or how could I tweak the rules a little bit? One step that you can take, give it some room, and then choose how you're going to step forward today. And I hope in 2026 and beyond that you choose to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.